Should you get fibrillation, aka tribulation? Have you ever had a game that really intrigued you, that you went into with high expectations, ready to enjoy it, and have all kinds of good things to say about it, only to have the game get in the way of itself over and over again? That's fibrillation. Fibrillation is one of those games rather like Dear Esther, The Stanley Parable, or Proteus. It's more about exploring the world, enjoying the experience, and telling a story than anything else. So don't expect any combat or puzzle solving. At most, you flee from the death slug spirit at a few points and try to find your way out of each area. That may not be for everyone, but I enjoy it, and I'm always interested to see how well a game can pull it off. Alas, fibrillation doesn't. I had hoped that the game's problems had been fixed by the update that was released a while back. I'm happy to say that the atrocious voiceover has been removed, and I couldn't be happier. It was pretty bad, and it didn't jive with the otherwise subtle presentation of the story. The game opens with your character standing in a white void with naught but grain filter and a pile of rubble to keep you company. As you walk forward, a tower rises out of the rubble with a dark entrance inviting you in. At this point, you'll notice a couple of things: the sound of your breathing and your heartbeat. They will be with you the entire game. Honestly, I found I tuned it out after a while, and it didn't bother me much. But for some people, repetitive noises like that would drive them crazy. On that note, listen to this sound. Imagine 40 minutes of that noise following you throughout the game. Yeah, apparently an audio glitch caused that sound effect to loop endlessly. I thought the update had fixed it, but on my third playthrough it came back. It's a small technical issue that completely ruins the game. Having to deal with that sapped the enthusiasm I initially felt. I was ready for a horror adventure through strange, abstract dreamscapes. Some of the environments can be creepy and strange. I like them, actually. I cared about what was going on. I wanted to know how the story ended. There were moments I genuinely found moody or exciting. For instance, there is this one part where, after you ascend a flight of metal stairs, the room shakes and you can hear footsteps coming up the stairs after you. I didn't know if I was in danger. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was that I didn't want whatever was making those footsteps to catch me. And then there's the stairway endlessly stretching downward, or the cubic maze, the long falls and nothingness. The game does some neat stuff that would otherwise be worth playing it through just once, maybe, to see. But that one time would be it. Unlike Dear Esther or The Stanley Parable, there's really nothing about the environment, the story, or the presentation to make you want to revisit this world. Nor any randomized elements, branching paths, gorgeous sights, or thrilling secrets to reward you for playing again. It's just that one time, and after that, the sense that you are on rails is pretty unavoidable. Regarding the story it tells and the world it builds, Fibrillation just isn't very memorable. It makes you believe it's going to be philosophical, thought-provoking, or emotional in some deep way, which is what games in this genre typically aim for, but it never delivers. While it has some interesting moments, the experience it's creating is rather unmemorable and disappointing. Nevertheless, I really wanted to like this game, and I did my best to give it a chance. On my second playthrough, the audio glitch was absent, and so I was able to stomach the journey. I wanted to see the story through. And then I got to the last maze. This area, it commits one of the most grievous crimes of game design I've ever seen. The game points you to a stairwell in the maze overseeing the maze walls. Between the walls, you can see walkways making a path over the maze to the exit. It was obvious to me that I needed to jump the gaps and make my way there. Except that with this game's mechanics, jumping is the last thing you can hope to pull off with any accuracy. Besides that, each time you fall off, you have to trek back to the beginning and try again and again and again. My patience for this game was utterly exhausted at this point. But it turns out you aren't supposed to jump the gaps. Despite walkways between them, which could not be accessed by any other way, you aren't supposed to jump down to them from the top of the stairs. You are supposed to turn around and go through the door up on the platform. In a game where every door you've come to up to this point couldn't be entered. So on top of being glitchy and unmemorable, the game is misleading. It tells you one thing the whole game long, and then changes the rules at the very end while giving you the most mind-numbing red herring to chase in the exact opposite direction. Intentional or not, this is not good game design. It can never be said enough. Games are about experiences, about creating a little world for the player to explore and discover. The designer is supposed to guide them into and through that world, teach them how to interact with it, and lay it out in a way that draws them forward and engages them, whether it's the most stat-heavy RPG or bare-bones exploration game like this. Fibrillation intrigued me enough to give it my money and my time, and then ruined the experience by being broken and confusing. I expected a horror adventure, and I had an adventure into horror of altogether the wrong kind.